Hello. Welcome to All India Bakcho, episode number 15. Is it 15?
काफी episode हो गए. Quite impressed with these last couple of weeks. Our efficiency is through the roof.
Yes. And which is really sad because this is supposed to be peak season for comedians.
Yes,
and we have spare time.
Which means we have no shows.
No shows.
Which means we will give you free content.
Bottom ring of comedians in Bombay.
Quite sad. Sir, actually
Yes.
जो वो TOI में article निकला था एक,
जी,
जिसमें था top 10 comedians of India.
हाँ,
उसमें हम दोनों नहीं थे.
हम दोनों नहीं थे.
And now who is having the last laugh?
Last laugh.
All those 10.
Yeah,
Sadly.
not us.
But anyway.
Yeah.
और क्या चल रहा है?
कुछ नहीं हो रहा है सर.
कुछ नहीं हो रहा है तो सीधा episode introduce करते हैं. हाँ.
Today on the episode we have a very funny columnist and hilarious comedian, Andy Zaltzman. He's officially the first white person
Yes.
to be on the podcast. Andy, a lot of you might not know him because a lot of you are uneducated piece of shit guys who sit at home and masturbate mostly. And he's a very famous journalist in the UK who writes a very funny cricket info column. And a lot of his stuff is about cricket. And have I mentioned that already?
Yeah, I think what you meant was that he does a lot of stuff on cricket.
That's what I meant, is it?
Also, he has a great podcast, which I don't want to mention it because then you will listen to it and stop listening to ours.
It's called The Bugle. Just look it up on iTunes.
It's called The Bugle. It's with John Oliver of The Daily Show.
Yeah,
तो उससे आपको पता चलता है कि उनकी भारी औकात है कॉमेडियन वर्ल्ड में.
हमारी औकात बिल्कुल
नहीं है क्योंकि हम आपस में करते हैं.
जी. So here's Andy Zaltzman. Check it out. We spoke a lot about cricket on this episode.
Really? Cricket?
Yeah, cricket, yes.
I didn't think you mentioned cricket.
You had no idea, right?
Yes, cricket.
Surprise!
Yes.
So check it out. This is Andy Zaltzman. One sec. Before we go though, before you fuckers listen to the podcast and just fuck off, let's do a quick gig update for you guys. Khamba, where are you performing in December?
Month, of course.
Of course.
I'm on the 11th of December. I'm at the Soul Fry Casa. That's in town. On the 12th of December, I'm at Irish House at Phoenix Mills. On the 13th of December.
By the way, that Irish House gig is not confirmed yet. I'll just say.
Okay. So that might happen. On the 13th, I'm at the Comedy Store, also in Phoenix Mills.
Correct.
And then I have a lot of assignments due.
Okay.
So I have a week off. I might be in Nasik for shooting some films.
That's sweet.
But no gigs.
My month also is jam-packed, Khamba.
Yes.
I am off to Singapore.
Amazing.
From the 4th to the 9th. So if anybody listens to this podcast in Singapore, come meet me or, don't.
We should do a Chinese version of the... Not, Singapore mein kya hota hai?
Hello, welcome to All India Bakcho. Hilarious. So 4th to 9th is where I'm at Singapore. If you guys want to meet me or grab a drink with me, just write to me. I'm at Out of the Blue on the 10th, Out of the Blue Powai on the 10th, Mumbai. 11th, I'm doing new material at the Comedy Store at New Stuff. 13th, I'm doing a new show with Veer Das, Anup Pal, Kavi Shastri, Ashish Shakya called News Jam. It's a new format. It's experimental comedy. That's at Three Wise Men in Juhu, Mumbai again. Come check that out. 4th to the 16th, I'm at the Comedy Store. 19th, ladies and gentlemen, All India Bakchot comes to Pune.
Pune, that's the first live gig we have in Pune. That'll be fun.
19th is that. 23rd, All India Bakchot, the 23rd December comes to Delhi.
Yes, I must admit, I'm quite excited about Delhi. Home crowd is home crowd, sir. For me, at least, it is home crowd.
We are at High Spirits in Pune on the 19th. Entry at the venue. 23rd December at Blue Frog in Delhi.
Yes.
Do show up. And I'm at B Flat in Bangalore on the 26th of December. So come check that out. And of course, the big two gigs, 29th December, All India Bakchod live at the Comedy Store.
In
Quite
Bombay.
a few AIB shows, Khamba.
कुत्ते अभी तो कह रहा था कोई गिग नहीं है तो पूरा कैलेंडर चिपका दिया.
हाँ, AIB के काफी shows है कह रहा था सर, 7 वाले.
अच्छा.
7 वाले. Sir, let's not get competitive.
Okay, I'm just
really
saying.
Not fair.
Just saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen to Andy Zaltzman.
Yes, Andy Zaltzman.
And cricket.
Very funny cricket person. Cricket, Andy.
Cricket.
All right. All on you. This is everything depends on you.
Yeah, you might lose like column readers because a lot of the people who will be listening into this also end up reading your column.
Right, so we are with Andy Zaltzman. A lot of you may know him from his hilarious columns that you've read and his really popular podcast. and also as the famous body double for Krusty the Clown.
Well,
do you get that a lot for your fantastic set of hair?
I do get that a lot, and various other comparisons, stroke insults. Krusty the Clown is one of the more common ones. You know, Art Garfunkel happens quite a lot. I used to have it shouted at me in gigs quite a lot. It's made it quite hard to then go into material after people have just been shouting out people with
Does it
curly
help
hair.
with material when people already expect that it's Krusty the Clown?
I think it hinders material because then, yeah. I mean, I don't. As you've seen my act. It's not clown based really. It's more word based. So maybe I've got the wrong look for that. I don't know. Maybe I did think of doing a show in next time I do the Edinburgh Festival, dressed fully as a clown, but then just doing my normal kind of set.
But what
politics.
led to this, Andy? I mean, this is a disaster.
What, my face? My head? My hair?
Not just the face. I'm talking about just in general. What happened? Your hair doesn't seem to.
Right.
It's like the population density map of Britain, no?
Right.
Countryside, low population, no population, and then London there.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like to mirror the population map of Britain. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. It's just nature, genetics. My father has he does not trouble the top of his head with hair. So, why should I? It's just nature and genetics and not brushing it.
This is obviously not your first time in India.
Second time in India. I came out for the World Cup last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry for that. Yeah. Must have been awful.
No, I came. You do not follow the English one-day team expecting them to win, particularly not in India. So.
Do you follow any English team expecting them to win?
Well, the Test team recently, certainly. I mean, the last time.
We shouldn't be saying this after they just won.
We just lost one Test match. It's okay.
I know, but I guess you followed the England team in I think the summer of 2011. I forget who the tourists were that summer, but I remember England winning all 4 tests quite easily. I can't remember who it was against, but certainly then it was good to follow the England team.
He's talking about India, by the way.
I know. I got the joke. I remember. Jeez. Here's my biggest gripe with the English cricket team since I was a kid. They got the better color of blue in their jersey.
True.
They got the nicer blue, and we had that fuck all sky blue.
They got the better Sardar also.
That's true.
That's no way to talk about Harbhajan, please. Disgusting.
But seriously, what is wrong? Harbhajan goes and plays county cricket and then he just doesn't deliver. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, we taught all his skills out of him, basically. Back in the 80s, when I was first into cricket, all the teams would come over, they'd have a load of guys who played county cricket, learn how to play in England, and they'd thrash us. And so now when players do come, on the rare occasions they do come across, we then teach them the wrong things. So we've turned Harbhajan from a good test bowler into a village dobber, basically.
Stupid question, but why do they play county cricket? What's the point?
I mean, what's the point of county cricket? Really, who's watching?
It looks like another cricket played on a parallel universe where nobody cares about them and they're still playing with all the passion and all.
As an Indian, what I'm trying to ask is, where's the money?
Where's the money? Well, the money all comes down from the internationals, which is why we're so grateful when India sends over a team to get thrashed 4-0, because it increases the popularity of cricket in England. So, I guess it's like the Ranji Trophy here. That doesn't seem to...
nobody cares about it.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
No,
Give a fuck about Ranji Trophy.
But you need it to keep bringing in the players to the Test team who can hit across the line to Monty and get out for nothing. So.
We have teams called railways. That's how bad. We don't even have states. We have services. We have water department as a fucking separate team.
The toilet cleaners 11.
Hey, no, nothing about the national team. All right? That's not cool. Okay, let's just get down to it, right? So, 5 things you hate about being in India and watching cricket in India.
It's too hot.
Of course.
I'm a pasty-faced Englishman. I don't believe it should be legal for the temperature to get above 25 degrees.
Fair enough.
Getting into grounds is a complete nightmare.
You wrote a column about it, right?
I wrote about it in the World Cup. In the World Cup, I went to the Ferozshah Kotla in Delhi for a game, and they were taking everything off people. One second.
Ferozshah Kotla, Delhi mein. Yeah. So they have no idea what Ferozshah Kotla is.
Well, if you haven't learned to speak our language properly, we gave you the chance and you appear to have spurned it. They were taking everything, taking sun cream, bottles of water. They even took Jeff Boycott's medicine off him.
Really? Oh, awful.
That's bad.
That's awful.
And they had coins. So we weren't allowed to take coins in. So in my wallet, I had some rupee coins and I had some British coins. And they looked in it and they took the rupees out and they let me keep the British coins. That's clearly the state of the British economy was such that they thought, that's worthless. We don't need that. We don't need that.
But I remember this during the 2010 World Cup. This was in Chennai, okay? India was playing the West Indies or something. And I was stuck in the same queues as everybody else was. And the security wasn't letting Robin Singh through. First off, Robin Singh was wearing these hideous jeans with like 500 sequins on them and a fucking hat from the 60s. So nobody recognized that it was Robin Singh. Then 3 people in the queue recognized it's Robin Singh. Said, dude, he was our fielding coach last year. Let him go. And the guy's like, no,
More
sorry.
importantly, he's a very famous ex-player, guys.
Basically, even he didn't. I was let through before Robin Singh was let through, and I was like, "This is the worst World Cup that has ever been organized." Okay, number three.
Number 3, there's a lack of beer in the grounds. I mean, it's not. I don't tend to drink a lot while I watch cricket, but I know a lot of England fans think it's basically a human rights abuse not to be able to get absolutely hammered during a cricket match.
Aren't you happy with the Pepsi? Na tamiz se khela jata hai. Na tamiz. You have no idea what I'm
No idea what you're talking about. No idea.
That's the.
You have all these languages in this country. We tried to provide you with one simple one for you all to learn.
So number 3, number 4.
Number 4. The quality of ice creams is very poor. Very
My
poor.
God, I totally didn't expect those words to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, really.
Quality of ice cream.
Yeah, dismal.
This has nothing to do with cricket at all. Now you're
Well, I like
just
cricket.
now you're getting personal with the country,
Well,
man.
I've got
What the fuck is
to
this?
be honest, I haven't really found 5 things I don't like about it. I love watching cricket in India. It's forcing me to almost make things up.
What's more annoying, the Kevin Peterson integration or this constant Sachin retirement debate? I mean, we're just going on and on and on about it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's it's gonna take a long time. It's maybe
I
it's,
think
it's
he's just
sort of-
called it.
It's almost like I think it's like the independence movement. You have to build it up. You have to build it up slowly. Eventually, then it'll happen. But
We have to fight for our freedom
Yeah,
from
you-
Sachin.
you just have to find your Gandhi figure to lead you to
Who
the
can
new
that
era,
be?
so.
Suresh Raina.
But even right now, there's really, even if I think of Sachin not in the team, there really is nobody to replace him.
Munaf Patel could replace him at the moment on his current form. But I don't know, it's kind of sad. I first saw him play when he was 17 when India played Kent in a warm-up game in 1990, and he was
Wait, let me clarify this. Sorry to interrupt. Kent is also a very famous water purifier brand.
in India.
So what we're trying to tell the audience is Andy means Kent the county and not the water purifier. Sachin was not in fact playing with a water purifier when he was 17 alone in his house. Yes, sorry.
And Andy was there just staring at him from his window.
That's now public domain. So I think it would have been heroic if he'd retired with 9900s to match Bradman's 99 average.
Yeah, look, he's not making any eye contact with us.
Well,
Would you make a prediction? When will Sachin retire? What's your?
I
take?
think
What's your
in the
guess?
year 2053, I think that's when he's scored his 101st 100 against the Vatican City in a specially arranged match. So.
Between India and Yugoslavia, who have just started playing cricket.
Maybe a special game in the St. Peter's Square. India v the Vatican. The Pope comes into bowl. Tendulkar scores 100, and everyone goes home happy.
Okay, who's more annoying? English cricket fans, or English football fans, or Indian cricket fans?
I don't mind Indian cricket fans. I haven't spent as much time here as you guys have, so maybe it'll build up.
You haven't worn a Pakistan t-shirt in an India stadium, have you?
No, I think the Foreign Office advice back home says a number of things. Don't
be a bad idea.
Yeah, don't. Do not walk into a cricket stadium wearing a Pakistan shirt. And I also discovered do not make small jokes about Kashmir on Twitter, which I discovered at the World Cup. Something I thought was completely harmless.
Now that
Turned
we
out-
think about it, Sachin can also probably retire by the time they solve the Kashmir issue. I think would be. I think that could also be another thing that they're waiting
Well,
for.
are you a fan of the Barmy army? Do you like are they still around? Do they still come?
They
watch?
seem to have splintered somewhat. There wasn't really in this Test match. They weren't all gathered together. There were still quite a lot of English people there, but the Barmy Army seem to split into various different regiments.
I think they've been sent to Afghanistan just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the regular army was so short on people that they sent those guys.
And the Barmy Army have better equipment than the government are giving our actual soldiers.
wouldn't be
So
surprised.
at least they got a cricket bat between them.
Do you know any of the chants that they do in the Barmy Army?
No, I've not really spent much time with the Barmy Army. The best one I heard was when they have some good ones for South Africa, including "You've got Y fronts on your flag," which thought was particularly appropriate. And they had one. It was at the Oval years ago about the, which is we wouldn't get in another sport. I don't think they were singing about the value of the rand. Kind of.
What was that? Come on, do it for us.
Starts
Go on,
off going,
Andy.
you got 2 rand to the pound, and then it goes on. The next verse is you got 3 rand to the pound. And they just kept going until it was up to you got 17 rand to the pound. No little economics.
Actually, these are
satire in a cricket song.
Oh my! This satire. These are way more classy than the chants we have.
I remember one Barmy Army chant which was towards Hashim Amla because he was standing on the corner. This is England and South Africa match which I was watching, and the guys were saying, "You've got your whole face upside down." Because he's bald and has the beard down.
Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
You got your head on upside down. Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Actually, this is how typical. It's still polite and they're still very
Still
nice
class,
about-
still thought behind it.
like the
Yeah.
ones that we have, and I want you to repeat this, Andy.
Okay.
Because our viewers will love this.
Right.
Wankhede mein aaya bhoot.
Wankade me aya boot.
Pakistan.
What am I saying here? Well, I want to take legal advice here. What is this? What is this?
This will give you so much credibility in India.
It's going to give me a jail sentence.
No, look, you don't want to go to Pakistan
I
anyway.
want to see my
you
kids
don't want
again.
your bus
I
getting
want to
shot.
see my children again.
Do you want? You're not going to cover the Pakistan series. A, nobody's going there. B, you don't want your bus getting
See, I
shot.
already know the result. So.
Exactly.
Okay, let's do another one. This one is slightly more harmless. Okay. Ek, do, teen, char.
Ek do teen cha.
Ganpati cha jai jaikar. Ganpati
Ganpati
cha
cha.
jai
Is that
jaikar.
something to do with tea, is it?
No, it's not.
It's actually just the most. It has nothing to do with
What?
cricket, but it is a
What?
chant.
It's a chant that we do.
Right. So what is it? What is
Ek,
it?
do, teen, char.
Ek do teen cha.
Ganpati cha
Ganpati cha.
jai jaikar.
J.J.K.
That's right. That's true. That's lovely.
That's
By the
just-
way,
What is that?
Just so you know.
How's my accent coming on?
Great, great.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, good. Yeah.
Just so you know, this second chant will get you in way more trouble.
Right.
Than the Pakistan
Well,
one.
what does that mean?
The second one was about. I don't know why we do this at stadiums. The second one is a chant about how our Lord Ganpati, who's a god,
Right.
is amazing.
Yeah.
That's all. It has nothing to do with the
It
cricket.
just rhymes. That's
God
it.
is
Alright.
amazing.
People in the stadiums going, okay, Sachin just got out. But Ganpati, by the way, is amazing. Did you guys know this? Just by the way. Was it a big deal at all that you were the #1 test team?
Yes, it was. I think people got too overexcited about that because it's slightly random the way they work it out.
Yeah.
And
I mean, first of all, Samsung sponsors it.
Yeah.
I mean, is it really an official ranking if you have a sponsor backing it? Come on.
so I don't think it's not an objective truth. Particularly having seen the previous #1 team, India, who turned up and played like they'd never held a bat before. So apart from Mr. Dravid. So and then of course England, having become #1, they then played terribly straight afterwards. So it's a curse. It's a
After
curse.
Australia, is there nobody in the world who can dominate the sport? I
No,
mean, it's a good
yeah.
thing that they can't.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting, and more competitive. But it kind of shows how good that Australian team. They were annoyingly good.
They were really good.
Yeah, really distressingly, irritatingly good.
It was really annoying to watch these Australian young cricketers. They were walking on the ground, fucking bare-chested, and they're just going around like fucking rugby players. And then I'm just like, I can't even imagine our Indian boys doing this with Sachin and his fucking man boobs just hanging out like that, and Sehwag's 8 fucking kilos of just flab hanging out. And it's just appalling. I can't
Just the
even imagine
visual
that.
is.
But I think that's when the Indian cricket team are heroically, giving us mortals the chance to imagine that we too could be elite sportsmen. But
So are you saying the Indian team is like that on purpose,
Yeah.
so that young Indians have a?
They're keeping it real. They're keeping it achievable. They're showing that ordinary people. You don't need to get fit to be good at
Yes,
sport.
you can just eat home food your whole life
that's right.
and still be a great cricketer.
That's why Indraman was the most heroic cricketer of all time. He thought, hey, anyone can do this.
So we were going to do this exercise
Yeah.
with Andy, which a lot of people they do a World 11, a Classic 11.
Yeah.
We want to do the anti-Classic 11.
Oh, right.
Just the shittiest team that
Right.
you can possibly imagine. The
Off
worst
the
team
top of your head. Yeah.
of the decade. Of the,
worst players or just players I particularly hate?
just players you hate.
Right,
Just players
okay.
you can't stand.
Number 1, Gary Kirsten.
Oh,
So-
come on. Oh, you can't make fun of. Oh, I'm ending this right now. What
I'm
the fuck is.
not saying as coach. Clearly, he did a great job for
Yes.
you guys as coach. But
Yeah.
as a player,
Why don't you like him?
as a player, he was the dullest batsman in history. He wasn't the slowest scoring, but there was something totally unremittingly joyless about his batting. And I say this because I, in the 1 year of my life that I actually had a proper job, I took a week of unpaid holiday to go and watch a test match in Manchester, where my now wife was living at the time. I went and stayed with her, went to the test match all 5 days. First 2 days, Gary Kirsten scores 200 off 500 balls. And it was the most painful, soul-stripping experience of my entire life. It was like he was batting in order to eradicate the concept of hope and goodness. So that's why I hate Gary Kirsten as a player.
But
I'm sure he's a
didn't he-
delightful man. He's clearly a very good player. Not saying he's a bad player. He was just the antithesis of everything I love about cricket.
He didn't say Rahul Dravid, by the way, so I'm just happy to see.
You remember?
Only on number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You remember how Gary Kirsten used to piss people off by scoring 100, then taking a bail off, then taking stance again? And I'm like, motherfucker, you just scored 100. Just relax. You want to take stance again. It's okay. Number 2.
Number 2.
The worst player.
Worst.
You hate.
The worst.
Nick Knight. No.
Oh, Nick, no, well, he was disappointing for England.
Mark Ram Prakash. I'm just throwing random British players.
I mean, there's I'd probably go for Jeff Marsh of Australia.
We've gone back a long way.
Yeah,
We've gone
I mean,
back.
these are guys who scarred my childhood. And Jeff Marsh and that Australian team, in '89, they were the first team Aussies to beat England for a while. No, that was Rodney Marsh before that. Jeff Marsh was an opening batsman, one of the slowest batsmen in history, and he only ever seemed to do well against England. He was rubbish against everyone else. And came to England and bored everyone to tears and helped Australia win the Ashes. So,
Because this will totally get edited. I'm just saying right now, this is going to be edited immensely.
Okay, number 2.
Not exactly comedy gold there.
God no. So you want another number 2? Oh no.
No, I'm kidding.
Number 3. God, oof, this is quite tough.
There are just so many, or you
Actually,
can't figure
I'm going to
out.
have Graham Smith as number 3 as well.
Oh, I hate Graham Smith.
Yeah, I
as
don't
well.
understand
Yeah.
the answer for that, though.
I mean, I admire Graham Smith as a man. He's clearly a very good batsman, but he is the ugliest batsman in the history of cricket. He makes, cover drive, maybe the most elegant stroke in cricket. Graham Smith makes a cover drive look like he's butchering a baby. He just kind of hacks at it as if he's trying to kill something.
But his face looks like a cement block. Have you noticed it?
Yeah.
Graham Smith. It's just like somebody dropped a fucking bucket of cement on his neck.
He has a gorgeous girlfriend. Have you seen her?
That's the entire South African
The
team.
entire South African team.
We have nobody.
Yeah,
We have Harbhajan with
And
that
it's
big,
annoying
great
when,
actress.
When like British people or just American people, they come down, they're like, "Oh, Indian women are so beautiful," and I'm just like, "Shut the fuck up! You're just saying that for the sake of saying that. Come on, I mean, really." What are you laughing about?
Number 4. You're obviously taking it personally, man. Relax.
Number 4. Oh, man, this is tough.
Limited to 5.
Five. So let's do
Okay.
four.
I'll try and find an Indian player that I really.
Yeah.
What do you feel about Abe Kuruvilla?
Abe, well, I've got a tattoo of him on my back. So,
I'm surprised you remember.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's a legend. You know.
Yes.
There's pictures of him in every single school in Britain. Just of him running up to bowl. We all look up to him as he's almost a deity in England. So. Yeah, every town has a Kuruvilla Street. So.
Number 4, an Indian that you just can't stand.
Mate, I'll go for Ravi Shastri.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You don't know how many props you're gonna get for that one. Oh man.
Man.
Because, I mean, when I was growing up, see, India would come to England, they'd have guys like Sandeep Patil and Srikanth and then Azharuddin, really exciting players. And then they had Shastri. who was just the absolute antithesis of the excitement of Indian batsmanship, and he'd just come along and just block and block and block and block. So I think I'm picking mostly boring players here. So
But he wasn't he the first guy to win an Audi or some shit for like a man of the match, which was a huge deal for Indians.
He did hit six.
Yeah, I'm judging him really as a test player when he was just ferocious. He got a 200 at the Oval in 1990 that was almost as bad as Gary Kirsten's 200, just in terms of just stripping you of the will to live as a cricket fan.
Have you heard his commentary?
I think he's got 10 buttons with a phrase on, hasn't he? And he just presses them randomly.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody did this on Twitter. Somebody made a Ravi Shastri bot.
I've seen
you
that.
remember that one?
Yeah.
Where you would make any random cricket reference and it would just reply to you with one of the phrases. And it would be so creepy because you were like, what the fuck is going on? Another very crucial question. What is the point of the Zimbabwe cricket team?
Well, I mean, that's...
really, what are
why is it there?
Is anybody watching them?
I think they're just there to bump up players' averages. There's all these struggling batsmen who sometimes have to face good bowling.
Have you been to Zimbabwe?
I haven't. No, I've been to South Africa years and years ago, but
okay, it's not the same thing.
No.
The currency
not
would
anymore,
be amazing there right now.
The currency, yeah. Although I mean, it used to
£1 would be about 10 million.
Yeah, although they devalued it and restructured it because there was a while when your Zimbabwean currency joke. You could put it, every week in our podcast we had a Zimbabwean currency joke, and then they sorted it out. And then we were just left with Berlusconi. That was it. We've still got him. He's still hanging on.
So unfair.
But the Zimbabwean currency jokes were taken away from us. So.
I think after all the great Zimbabwe players left, all the players in the current team are tongue twisters. Just like Tatenda Taibu is a tongue twister for me. I can say that. That's how I'll teach my kids to talk, probably. Just a fucking...
Hamilton Masakata.
It's
lovely. It's a lovely name. And they give a team that Bangladesh might beat once every 5 years as well. So
that's true. That's true. Speaking of which, what do you feel about Bangladesh? Because every 2 years they write, oh my God, the Bangladeshi team, they score one upset and people are like, oh, they're back. And then they get demolished for the next 3 years.
Yeah. I've got a real soft spot for Bangladeshi cricket after the World Cup when I spent a bit of time there for the opening match and the quarterfinals, and they're so enthusiastic.
That's sweet.
Yeah, they're so enthusiastic. I did some gigs in Dhaka, which was some of my favourite gigs that I've ever done, and they're so enthusiastic about cricket, and their team is just resolutely awful. It's almost like they've seen the opportunity to get better, and they think, no, that's not for us. No, we won't do it. Apart from when they beat England in the World Cup. But it'd be great if they did get good, but I don't know. They don't seem to. It's hard to imagine a great Bangladeshi fast bowler at the moment. So
the best Bangladeshi fast bowler is currently my plumber back home. Right now. Okay. I swear to God, he's the guy who fixes my tap.
Yeah. No, because all the healthy Bangladeshis managed to escape to India in 71.
Right.
So all the ones that are there are the malnutritioned ones.
Right.
Like it's a sight. It's the opposite of the Indian team where if Sehwag hits a 6, it's all the middle class belly fat in the world making that effort. If you see a Bangladeshi hitting a 6, it's all the effort. You're tilling the land. You have to fucking hold the bat like that. And you feel so bad. I have this great story. We were in the opening of the Cricket World Cup in 2010. Where, remember when Sehwag made that killer opening? He made some 150 plus. 175 he made there. So, in the stand next to us in Dhaka, this is the opening match, there was one single Indian fan. In the entire stand, single fan, who kept shouting down every Bangladeshi every time Sehwag hit a 4. Then in the second half, he got beat up by the crowd. Then because we had gone on behalf of Pepsi, so some of the guys came in and said, guys, you know, there's a bit of a security issue because one Indian got beat up. We have to take you somewhere safe. So we were taken to the ICC box. Which is bizarre.
So it's good that in that game Srisanth did his best to kind of heroically to build bridges between India and Bangladesh by bowling like an absolute
I'm so
clown.
happy we spoke about Srisanth because what is the one advice you'd like to give Srisanth?
Srisanth, I dance more. I think. He's supposed to be renowned for his dancing. He doesn't dance enough.
I realize that everybody outside India likes Srisanth, but everybody here hates the guy. Because everybody outside is like, oh my God, look, what a clown. So nice to see him when he's not playing for us.
Yeah. When he's not bowling like a clown. He's just acting like a clown. We can take that.
The India-Sri Lanka World Cup final in 2010. Before the match goes on air, they announce the teams on that big board. as soon as Srishant's photograph came in, the whole stadium started booing. Dude, like my entire. And I'm like, it's the final. You're Indians. Come on, relax. It's still our play. Started booing.
Well, that's what you want in sports. We want them to create debates and discussion points, and Srishant goes out of his way to do that. Gives you guys something to talk about.
I felt bad for him because when the Indian team used to practice, like before the match, the entire team would be on one side of the ground and Srishant would be on the other corner alone with a stump. There wasn't even a guy to stand behind the stump to catch the ball. He'd have to run, get the ball, and go back and bowl again.
But are you a Sidhu fan? Because Sidhu is one of those people who's just very divisive. Like he'll split the room in half.
See, watching cricket in England, we don't get the joys of
Listening to Mr.
Navjot Sidhu's commentary. So I remember at the World Cup, people seem, it was love him or hate him. Mostly hate him. It seems so. So I don't know. I mean, I like a bit of unorthodoxy in the commentary box, but I've not really seen enough of him to make my decision. I'll have to try and catch someone I'm here.
There's also now the ICC, the joke that it is expanding into a lot of other countries. So, are you afraid of the Chinese coming into cricket?
Yeah, the Chinese are going to take over the entire world in every department. We've seen it in the Olympics. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in cricket, I think. Yeah, particularly if you merge China with South Africa, there's going to be some breeding program where they buy Jack Callis off South Africa and just put him out to stud in a Chinese stud farm to breed a generation of cricketers.
I think it'll be.
There won't be any no balls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, if you bowl a no ball for China in a Test match, Well, also if you bowl a no ball for China in a Test match, you'll probably never see your parents again.
Also, what if somebody gets out and the same person changes the helmet and comes back and you will never know the difference? Like, who do you know? Is it the same batsman? Like, everybody's Sachin. Like, who the fuck?
Not racist at all.
No, that's not
racist at all.
It's not racist because you've got brown skin. It's fine.
Yes,
It's absolutely fine.
exactly.
If I'd said it, that would have been a different matter.
Exactly. The Hindi confectionery store.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, finally.
Is there any country that you wish would start playing cricket?
Italy. I'd love because Italian sport. They're so expressive. They're just complaining and whinging all the time. They're great body language, and I think cricket.
Italian accent.
They could. No, I don't do
It's
accents.
like a show.
You're not paying me enough.
Andy, do this.
You're not paying me enough to do accents. In fact, you're not paying me at all. So no accents. I've been doing an English accent. I never speak like this normally. So I have a broad Bulgarian accent when I'm at home, but I've put it on for you guys.
Italy, is it?
Yeah, Italy. I see some of that Italian body language.
Somebody will get shot in that match.
Yeah.
Like, most likely.
And a lot more. We need more players slicking their hair back, and yeah.
Somebody told this to me and I thought it was very funny. They said that the West Indies cricket team could be the West Indies any team. They could be the wrestling team. They could be their athletics team. Are you fond of the West Indies? Have you been to West Indies, by the way?
I haven't been there, no, but I've loved their cricket from when I was growing up in the 80s when they used to just come and humiliate England and everyone around the world. And with this amazingly charismatic team that you had kind of all these English players, these kind of hard-working county pros being called in when everyone else had their faces smashed to pieces and heroically standing up playing their textbook forward defensives as their off-stump speared the wicket-keeper in the eye. So it was amazingly exciting watching the West Indies, and it's kind of depressing to see them now.
Is it
bowling dobby medium pacers? And,
I just love that a bunch of black people are losing at some sport. I mean, they usually dominate any sport they get into. I mean,
wow, you've had a go at the Chinese and the blacks now. What is happening in this place?
Is it nice to see your dealer play so well? Like, just saying.
Now that we've opened the door.
Might as well. Okay, answer carefully.
So happy this podcast isn't that popular. So happy.
Answer carefully.
Yeah,
Lara or Tendulkar?
Lara.
I think that's
it. I think this podcast is over.
I love Tendulkar, but Lara for me was the most exciting player of the last 25 years.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Zaltzman. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Great having you here. And Mr. Varun Grover as well, who partially entered the podcast and then disappeared.
When's the next year coming back here? Any clue?
I don't know. I'd like to come back and do a proper stand-up tour.
Yeah.
Next time.
That sounds like
hopefully
fun.
Next year. So.
Say goodbye to everybody in Hindi. Do you know how to say goodbye in Hindi?
Goodbye? Is that it? No?
No, can you... Alvida, dosto.
Right, what are you telling me to say? I do not trust you guys. Do not. I'm going to stick with goodbye. I'm going to stick with goodbye.
See you guys next time.
See you guys.
Bye.